views expressed on this channel are solely those of the speaker, and there is no real or implied endorsement by the Social Security Administration or any other part of the federal government.
Disability for those over the age of 50 and doing other work. I'm going to give you a true story. One friend of mine who's a doc told me, Anthony, you know you're a man of a certain age. I was like, what? What do you mean by man of a certain age and so forth? And I had to laugh because, for those, I'll throw it out there, I'm 47. And I had to laugh because what I realize now is that when you get older, you are conditioned based on your experiences at certain levels of your career. Like, it's kind of interesting to stop and think about it. Like, I'll give you a good example. When I was in law school back in 1998 to 2001, the two primary sources of legal research for me was Westlaw and Lexis. When I came out a few years later, there's a thing called Fastcase, which became more prominent, and now Google Scholar has a legal research tool now. So there's more tools available now than there were when I first came out. But that's the same thing with any other job. What you're finding is that as you age, your ability to adapt to other things tends to become more and more restrictive. Not because you can't do those things. Not because you can't do those things. It's just because your limitation is because what's happening is that you've been in the workforce for such a long period of time. Your ability to adapt becomes a little bit more strained because you become more and more removed from the newer way of doing things and more ingrained to a certain way of doing things that you're accustomed to. And Social Security kind of looks at it as the older you are, the more difficult it becomes to adjusting to those type of things. Just like in the same breath, the younger you are, the presumption is the more likely you can adapt to those things. So keep in mind, and I always tell people, when you're over the age of 50, Social Security has drawn a line in the sand that when you hit that age, that you are now at a particular point where your ability to adjust is starting to become impacted. And the more you go, the further you come. So 55, it becomes more restrictive. 60, it becomes more restrictive. The older you get, the more it becomes important to determine whether or not you can make those adjustments to doing other work, because if they don't believe you can, it's helpful to proving that you're disabled.
Tune in tomorrow as we talk about what does your long work history say about your case.